It literally just dropped. Welcome back to Learning AI Today. I'm your host, and we are coming at you with an urgent breaking news explainer today. Yesterday, May 28th, 2026, Anthropic completely out of nowhere released Claude Opus 4.8. And let me tell you, within hours, it shot straight to the absolute #1 spot on the most respected independent leaderboards. We're going to break down the whole thing for you. Every single benchmark, the crazy new features, the honest caveats, and exactly what this means for you right now, whether you're a hardcore developer or just an everyday user. So, let's just dive right in.
Okay, first up, the timeline. 41 days. That is exactly how long it took Anthropic to jump from Opus 4.7 to Opus 4.8. Just 41 days. This is, without a doubt, their fastest release cadence ever. I mean, we're all so used to waiting months, maybe even a full year between major capability jumps, right? But this insane, accelerating velocity, it sets an incredibly high-stakes tone for the entire AI industry right now. The pace of improvement isn't just maintaining, it is actively speeding up.
So what actually is Opus 4.8? Well, it's a point-release architecture upgrade to the Opus class. Let me just quickly rattle off the essential specs for you. It keeps that massive 1 million token context window and the 128,000 token max output. But here's the absolute most shocking part of the drop. The price is completely unchanged. Zero difference. You are getting a substantially smarter model for the exact same $5 in, $25 out per million tokens. And it's not stuck on some endless waitlist. It is live right now across Amazon Bedrock, Google Cloud, Vertex AI, and Microsoft Foundry.
And honestly, this next part brilliantly illustrates just how aggressive Anthropic's rollout strategy really is. On the exact same day it was announced, Opus 4.8 became generally available on GitHub Copilot, literally same day. If you're a Copilot Pro, Plus, Business, or Enterprise user, you can just go and select Claude Opus 4.8 from the drop-down menu right inside your editor today. Boom, done. Immediate developer accessibility is clearly a massive priority for them right now.
Now, the headline benchmark number here represents a massive shift. On the Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index v4.0, which, by the way, aggregates 10 completely separate independent evaluations, Opus 4.8 hits a score of 61.4. This officially dethrones GPT-5.5, which is sitting at 60.2. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A 1.2-point lead might look a little narrow at first glance, but on a composite index this broad, that represents a consistent, rock-solid outperformance across a huge variety of tasks, not just a lucky spike in one specific category.
Let's look at the full picture, though, because honest reporting beats hype every single time. Digging into the comprehensive data, Claude Opus 4.8 absolutely dominates SWE Bench Pro, which is pretty much the hardest coding test out there, with a massive 10.6% lead over GPT-5.5, landing at 69.2%. It also cleanly wins the OS World Verified Computer Use benchmark. But notice where it doesn't win. GPT 5.5 still firmly holds the crown for shell scripting and DevOps in Terminal Bench 2.1, and Google's Gemini family still edges out the competition in high-volume tool use with MCP Atlas. No single model wins every single thing, but Claude's leap in complex coding here, it's undeniable.
Okay, I want to slow down for a second and let this next number really sink in. On the GDPval-AA leaderboard, which measures actual, real-world, economically valuable work tasks, Opus 4.8 scored an 1890 LO. That is a staggering 121-point gap over GPT 5.5. In the world of LO ratings, to put that into perspective, that translates to roughly a 67% implied win rate in head-to-head, real-world workflows. This is, without a doubt, arguably the most important metric of the entire release.
So how exactly is it achieving this? Well, let's move over to the new features and see how this builds into real capability. The first major one is dynamic workflows within Claude Code. Up until now, AI agents kind of hit a brick wall when delegating large code-based migrations because they had to work sequentially. Dynamic workflows completely breaks that ceiling. It allows Claude to act as a master orchestrator, spinning up literally hundreds of parallel subagents. You can now hand it a massive, days-long refactoring project, and it will coordinate the entire thing simultaneously.
The second feature is for everyone, not just the hardcore developers. It's the brand new Effort Control UI right there on Claude.ai. You now have this simple slider with quick, balanced, and deep settings. This basically empowers you to dictate the computational reasoning effort, matching it directly to whatever task you're doing. Need a quick grammar check? Just use quick. Writing a standard email? Balanced is totally fine. But if you were trying to solve a super complex architectural logic puzzle, switch that bad boy to deep. It gives you incredible control over both the reasoning depth and, ultimately, your token usage.
Feature number 3 revolves around this number, 3. The new fast mode for Opus 4.8 is exactly 3 times cheaper than the fast nodes on previous versions. We are talking just $10 per million input tokens, while it still manages to deliver 2.5 times the output speed. Now, it is currently in a research preview, so you do have to request access to it, but a 67% price reduction for high-speed inference, that is going to be absolutely game-changing for latency-sensitive applications.
Now, let's shift gears a bit to what Anthropic is calling their strategic honesty upgrade. I mean, we've all been there, right? An AI confidently gives us a completely wrong answer, a hallucination. The real danger isn't necessarily that the AI doesn't know something. The real danger is that it silently guesses and gets it wrong in a live production environment. Opus 4.8 introduces a major behavioral shift here. Instead of just wildly guessing, it is now explicitly trained to stop and say, "I am not certain about this, please verify."
By prioritizing this kind of honesty, Opus 4.8 actually achieved a 4 times reduction in unreported code flaws compared to 4.7. Think about that. It actually secured the lowest incorrect rate among the top 6 models tested, specifically because it actively chooses to abstain on uncertain questions. Anthropic is clearly building this for high-stakes, production-level trust. They want you to be able to hand off those massive, days-long tasks we talked about earlier without living in constant fear of silent, catastrophic failures in the background.
But hey, as always on this explainer, we absolutely have to look at the caveats. Transparency matters, right? There are 2 specific areas where Opus 4.8 actually performs slightly worse than 4.7. First, on the GPQA Diamond benchmark, which measures graduate-level science, it regressed just a tiny bit, dropping from 94.2% to 93.6%. Second, and honestly much more importantly for the developers out there, its agentic prompt injection robustness decreased. Attack success rates went up to 9.6% from 6.0%. So listen closely, if you are building agentic pipelines that process untrusted external content, you absolutely need to review your sandboxing protocols today.
All right, so what does all of this crazy data actually mean for you today? Let's do some rapid-fire takeaways. If you're an everyday user on Claude.ai, your account is already updated, go try that new effort control slider on deep mode for your hardest problems. If you're a developer, update your API calls to Claude Opus 4.8 right now. You're going to immediately see about a 35% improvement in output token efficiency. And if you're a business builder, your homework is to test dynamic workflows on a multi-day coding task that previously just felt totally impossible to delegate.
Before we wrap this up, let's zoom out for a second to the broader macroeconomic picture. Like, why is all of this happening so incredibly fast? Remember that 41-day release cadence we talked about earlier? It connects directly to this. Reports coming out this week indicate that Anthropic is finalizing a massive pre-IPO funding round of over $30 billion, and they are aiming for a potential $900 billion valuation. We are watching a rapidly accelerating AI arms race unfold in real time, right in front of us. The models are getting vastly more capable, the updates are happening in weeks rather than years, and the financial stakes, they have literally never been higher.
Which leaves us with the absolute most important part of this entire explainer, how you are going to use it. The massive leap in agentic capabilities, the new honesty upgrades, and the sheer real-world benchmark dominance of Opus 4.8 fundamentally changes what is possible to build right now. So I want to challenge you. What is the very first use case you are going to test with Claude Opus 4.8 today? Drop it in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me on this breaking news explainer. Keep building, and I will see you next time on Learning AI Today.